Most people believe a warm shower before bed is one of the healthiest nighttime rituals. Relaxing, calming, good for your heart. I've seen the opposite more times than I can count. A 67-year-old retired teacher named Margaret who did yoga 3 times a week, ate clean, took her medications exactly as prescribed. She stepped into her evening shower at 9:15 on a Tuesday. Her husband found her collapsed against the tile wall 12 minutes later. Paramedics worked on her for 40 minutes. By the time she reached my operating room, the damage was already done. Here's what nobody told her. What nobody tells most people over 60 about the 5 ordinary things they do before bed that are silently setting up cardiac events while they sleep. What I'm going to tell you today. My name is Dr. Rahman. I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon with 28 years in the operating room. I've opened over 2,000 chests. I've held beating hearts in my hands. And I've spent nearly 3 decades watching the same preventable patterns repeat. Patients who did everything right, followed every guideline, took every pill, and still ended up on my table at 2 in the morning with their families in the waiting room asking the same question over and over. How did this happen? The answer is almost never one big thing. It's 5 small things, ordinary things. Things that happen in bathrooms and kitchens and bedrooms between 8 p.m. and midnight. Things the system never took the time to explain. Today I'm going to tell you what those 5 things are and exactly what to do about them. Starting tonight. After 60, your body at night is fundamentally different than it was at 40. Here's what I mean. Imagine your cardiovascular system as a city that runs 24 hours. During the day, there's a full crew working. Traffic controllers, emergency responders, backup systems ready to kick in if something goes wrong. Your baroreceptors are responding instantly to position changes. Your sympathetic nervous system is maintaining alertness. Your coronary arteries are dilating efficiently to meet demand. But between midnight and 6 a.m., you're running on a skeleton crew. Your blood pressure naturally dips. Your heart rate slows. Your parasympathetic nervous system takes over. That's supposed to happen. It's called nocturnal dipping, and it's protective. A healthy dip is 10 to 20% below your daytime average. That nightly rest period is when your arteries recover from the day's stress, when inflammation markers drop, when your heart muscle gets its deepest restoration. But here's the problem. More than 50% of adults over 65 have lost normal nocturnal dipping. Their blood pressure stays elevated all night, or worse, it spikes unpredictably. Some people are what we call reverse dippers. Their BP actually goes up at night instead of down. Their autonomic nervous system doesn't transition smoothly anymore. The handoff from sympathetic to parasympathetic becomes erratic. So when you add even small stressors right before bed, a hot shower, a big meal, a glass of wine, you're not just disrupting sleep. You're triggering a cascade that peaks between 3 and 6 a.m. when your body has the least capacity to handle it. That's the window when most cardiac events in seniors actually happen. Not during the day when you're active and your system is alert. At night, when you think you're safe. The statistics are stark. 40% of heart attacks in people over 65 occur between midnight and 8 a.m. Not during exercise, not during stress, during sleep, or what should be sleep. Stay with me. Number 1, hot showers or baths after 8 p.m. Now this one surprises people every time because we've been told our whole lives that a warm bath before bed helps you sleep. And for younger people it does. The temperature drop after a warm bath actually signals the body to produce melatonin. But after 60, the mechanism flips. Here's what's happening. When you step into hot water, anything above 98 degrees, your peripheral blood vessels dilate rapidly. Blood rushes to your skin. Your core body temperature rises. To compensate, your heart rate increases by 20 to 30 beats per minute to maintain blood flow to vital organs. Your cardiac output has to rise to redistribute blood volume. For a few minutes, you're essentially putting your cardiovascular system under the same stress as moderate exercise, except you're not exercising. You're standing still in a confined space, often holding your breath slightly because of the steam. Your blood vessels in your arms and legs are wide open, but your cerebral blood flow can actually decrease because of the redistribution. Then you step out. The temperature drop is sudden. Your blood vessels constrict. All that blood that was in your periphery suddenly has to go somewhere. Your blood pressure spikes. This is called cold pressor response, and in someone over 60 with even mild arterial stiffness, that spike can go from 120 over 80 to 160 over 90 in under 2 minutes. Your body is trying to restore homeostasis, but the speed of the change overwhelms your slower autonomic reflexes. If this happens at 9 p.m. and you go to bed at 10, you're lying down with an elevated sympathetic state, right as your body is trying to enter parasympathetic rest mode. The conflict keeps your BP elevated through the night. Write that down. I had a patient, 72 years old, who loved his nightly 10 p.m. shower. Hot as he could stand it. 20 minutes. every single night for 15 years. He came to me after a TIA, transient ischemic attack, mini stroke. When we put him on 24-hour ambulatory blood pressure monitoring, we saw his BP spiking to 170/100 every night between 10:15 and 10:45, exactly 15 minutes after his shower, then staying elevated until 2 a.m. His morning BP when he woke up was still 150/95. He was dizzy getting out of bed, exhausted every day. We moved his shower to 6:30 p.m., same temperature, same duration. Just earlier, within 10 days, his nocturnal BP pattern normalized. Morning BP dropped to 128/78. Dizziness gone. The fix here costs nothing. If you need to shower at night, do it before 7 p.m. or switch to lukewarm water. I'm talking body temperature, 98 degrees. Not hot, not cold, neutral. If you love that hot shower, take it in the morning. Your cardiovascular system can handle it when your autonomic nervous system is fully awake. That's all. Number 2, eating within 3 hours of lying down. Let me ask you something before we go further. How many of you finish dinner at 7:30 and then have a snack at 9 or 9:30 because you're watching TV and you feel a little hungry? Almost everyone does it. Here's what nobody tells you. Digestion is a massive cardiovascular event. Your gut needs 30% more blood flow to process food. That blood has to come from somewhere. After 60, when you eat and then lie down within 3 hours, your body is trying to do two opposite things. Digesting food requires increased cardiac output and upright posture to let gravity assist gastric emptying. Sleep requires decreased cardiac output and horizontal posture. The conflict creates something called postprandial hypotension in seniors. Your blood pressure can actually drop 20 to 30 points within 30 minutes of eating while lying down. Sounds good, right? Lower BP, but it's not. That sudden drop triggers a compensatory reflex. Your heart rate increases. Your body releases stress hormones to stabilize the system. You end up with tachycardia and elevated cortisol right as you're trying to sleep. Worse, if you ate anything high in sodium or sugar, you're also dealing with an insulin spike and fluid retention that peaks around 2 a.m. I've seen this pattern in case after case. A 68-year-old man who loved his nightly bowl of ice cream at 9:30. Every night, 10 p.m. bedtime. Woke up at 2 a.m. 3 times a week with heart palpitations. Thought it was anxiety. It wasn't. It was his cardiovascular system fighting the metabolic load of late-night sugar while horizontal. Does this sound like anything you do regularly? If it does, leave a comment and let me know what your usual evening snack is. I read every single one. The specific fix: stop eating by 7 p.m. If you absolutely need something after that, a small handful of raw almonds or walnuts, 14 walnut halves. That's it. The omega-3s actually help with overnight blood pressure regulation. Give it 2 weeks and check your morning BP numbers. 2 more items after this one. And item 4. That's the one that even I had a significant blind spot about for the first 15 years of my career. Stay with me. Number 3. Taking certain medications right before bed. This one is the hardest to talk about because most people are doing exactly what their doctor told them to do. But here's where it gets complicated. Many doctors still prescribe based on convenience. Take your BP meds in the morning. Take your statin at night. The logic seems sound. BP meds in the morning when BP is naturally higher. Statins at night because cholesterol synthesis peaks overnight. But recent research has completely flipped this for seniors. If you're taking a diuretic for blood pressure or heart failure and you take it after 6 p.m., you're going to wake up at least twice during the night to urinate. Every time you stand up from lying down, your blood pressure has to adjust rapidly. After 60, that adjustment is slower. You get orthostatic hypotension, dizziness, falls. But even if you don't fall, the repeated disruption to sleep architecture means you never get deep restorative sleep. Your cortisol stays elevated. Your sympathetic nervous system never fully rests. Even worse, if you're on a medication that depletes magnesium, like hydrochlorothiazide or furosemide, and you're taking it at night, you're creating a magnesium trough right when your heart needs it most for rhythm stability between midnight and 6 a.m. I had a patient, I'll call him Robert, 71, on HCTZ for high blood pressure, taking it at 8 p.m. because that's what the bottle said. He was waking up 4 times a night, exhausted every morning. Blood pressure still not controlled. I had him switch the same medication to 7 a.m. Within 1 week, he was sleeping through the night. Within 3 weeks, his morning BP readings dropped from 145/90 to 128/78. Same medication, same dose, different timing. The question to ask your doctor: write this down. Can we move my diuretic to the morning and my ACE inhibitor or ARB to bedtime? Most doctors will say yes once you explain the sleep disruption. That one change can be massive. Number 4, drinking alcohol after 7 p.m. Here's what I wish I had understood earlier in my career. For years, I told patients that one glass of red wine with dinner was heart healthy. The research seemed clear. Resveratrol, antioxidants, the French paradox, all of it. I was wrong. Or rather, I was right for people under 50 and wrong for people over 65. Here's the mechanism. Alcohol is a biphasic drug. Phase 1, it's a depressant. It makes you relaxed, sleepy. Your BP might even drop slightly. That's the first 2 hours. But phase 2 happens around 3 to 4 hours after drinking. Your body metabolizes the alcohol into acetaldehyde. Your liver is working overtime. Your sympathetic nervous system rebounds. This is called the rebound effect. Your heart rate increases. Your blood pressure spikes. You get what's called fragmented sleep. You wake up multiple times, even if you don't remember it. Your REM sleep is destroyed. Now, if you're 40 and you have a glass of wine at 8 p.m., phase 2 hits at midnight. You're still young enough that your system handles it and you sleep through. But if you're 68 and you have that same glass at 8 p.m., phase 2 hits at midnight, right when your cardiovascular system is supposed to be in its deepest rest state. Your BP spikes, your heart rate jumps. And because your autonomic regulation is weaker, that spike can last until 4 or 5 a.m. Every single night that you drink after 7 p.m., you're setting up a 3 a.m. cardiac stress event that you don't even know is happening. The research is clear now. Seniors who drink alcohol within 4 hours of bedtime have significantly higher rates of atrial fibrillation, nocturnal hypertension, and early morning cardiac events compared to seniors who stop drinking by 6 p.m. or don't drink at all. I'm not telling you to never have wine. I'm telling you to move it earlier. If you're going to have one glass, have it at 5 or 6 p.m. with an early dinner. Let your body clear it before bed, or skip it on weeknights entirely. Starting tonight. Number 5, scrolling your phone or watching intense TV right before sleep. Now I know what you're thinking. This one sounds like generic sleep hygiene advice. But I need you to hear this clearly, because this is where the most preventable damage happens, and almost nobody connects it to heart health. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin. Everyone knows that part. But what most people don't know is that melatonin isn't just a sleep hormone. It's a direct cardioprotective hormone. Melatonin reduces oxidative stress in the endothelium. It helps regulate your circadian blood pressure rhythm. It has antiarrhythmic effects. When you suppress melatonin by staring at a bright screen until the moment you close your eyes, you're not just making it harder to fall asleep. You're removing a layer of overnight cardiac protection that your body is counting on. Worse, if what you're watching is stressful, the news, a thriller, an argument on social media, you're activating your amygdala and your sympathetic nervous system. Your body releases cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate variability drops. Even if you fall asleep, your sleep is shallow. Your BP stays elevated. And here's the part that almost no one talks about. The light and the content create a conditioned response. Your brain starts associating your bed with alertness and stress instead of safety and rest. Over time, just being in your bedroom elevates your baseline heart rate. I've measured this with wearable monitors on patients. Resting heart rate in the living room, 68. Resting heart rate in bed with the TV on, 79. Same person, 10-point difference. That's chronic low-grade cardiac stress every single night. A 73-year-old woman came to me with unexplained nocturnal chest tightness. No blockages on her angiogram. Everything structurally normal. I asked her about her nighttime routine. She was watching crime documentaries in bed until 11 p.m. every single night, falling asleep with the TV still on. I had her stop all screens by 9 p.m., replace it with an audiobook, low volume, something calm. Within 2 weeks, the chest tightness was gone. Her overnight heart rate dropped by an average of 11 beats per minute. The fix here costs nothing. Stop all screens by 9 p.m. If you need something to do, read a physical book under a warm light. Listen to music. Talk to your partner. Let your melatonin rise naturally for at least an hour before sleep. That's all. I want to be honest with you for a moment. Not as a content creator, as a surgeon. I have stood at an operating table at 3 in the morning, holding a heart that was still struggling to beat after a massive infarction. I have spoken to families in waiting rooms at dawn. Families who had no idea anything was wrong when they said goodnight 8 hours earlier. In case after case, the contributing factors were not mysterious. They were hot showers, late dinners, evening medications, a glass of wine at 9 p.m. Screens in bed. These are not exotic risk factors. They are the background noise of millions of ordinary evenings. And that background noise, accumulated night after night, year after year, creates the conditions for the events I see in the operating room. Events that could have been prevented. Not with expensive interventions, not with more pills, with small changes, 5 small changes. Starting tonight, I want to tell you about a patient. I'll call him David, 70 years old, retired postal worker, loved woodworking. Loved his grandkids. Came to me after his second TIA in 6 months. He was already on aspirin, already on a statin, already watching his diet. But when we talked through his evenings, all 5 patterns were there. Hot shower at 9:30, snack at 10, BP meals at bedtime, 2 glasses of wine with dinner at 8, TV until he fell asleep. We didn't add a single medication. We changed the timing of everything. Shower at 6:30, warm not hot, dinner by 6, last food by 7, BP meds moved to morning, wine with lunch on weekends only. Screens off by 9. 8 weeks later, his 24-hour BP monitoring showed normal nocturnal dipping for the first time in years. His resting heart rate dropped from 76 to 63. He's now 2 years out with no further events. The first thing he said to me at his last checkup was, "Why did nobody tell me this 10 years ago?" That question stays with me. It's a big part of why I make videos like this one. Let me summarize the 5 items. Number 1, no hot showers or baths after 8 p.m. Lukewarm only, or move it to morning. Number 2, stop eating by 7 p.m. No snacks after that, except 14 walnuts if you absolutely need something. Number 3, move your diuretic to morning and ask your doctor about timing all your meds. Number 4, no alcohol after 7 p.m. If you drink, finish by 6. Number 5, all screens off by 9 p.m. Let your melatonin protect your heart overnight. Now I want to know, which one of these 5 are you going to change first? Leave a comment. Tell me which habits you're starting with tonight. I read every single comment and I learned from them. If this information helped you, share this video with someone you love who's over 60. They need to hear this. And if you haven't subscribed, do it now. I put out videos like this every week. Information your doctor doesn't have time to explain. Click that button. This is not medical advice for your specific situation. I'm a surgeon sharing what I've learned from decades in the operating room and what the research shows. But I'm not your doctor. I don't know your history. Before you change any medication timing or stop any treatment, talk to your physician. Show them this video if it helps. Most good doctors will work with you on timing and habits. What I've shared today is meant to educate you so you can have that conversation. Your heart has been working for you every single minute of every single day for 70 years without ever asking for anything in return. Give it this. Give it the gift of a nighttime routine that protects it instead of stressing it. Starting tonight, it is never too late.